So lately, I feel God has been checking my spirit about a couple of things. I'll say something in my mind, maybe something snide, and then the thought will come to me that actually you don't quite have the right perspective on this. Oh, and by the way, guys, like, I wouldn't obviously normally come on a video looking like this, but this came to me, and I know if I don't, like, make this recording, I really won't, and I think it's worth just putting it out there in case someone else is experiencing the same or having the same thoughts on these issues. And yeah, I'm not about to put on makeup for the sake of you lot. Like, I'm a busy woman, I've got stuff to do, and I'm all for putting on makeup, to be honest, but nah. Not right now. I'm trying to get my hair done. So back to the point. So God has been checking me on certain thoughts I've been having. And I think it all kicked off kind of yesterday. My nephews had this, I think for as part of the celebrations for the Queen's Jubilee. I think primary school students across the country have been told to turn up in traditional wear for their respective countries or whatever. And, as all part of the festivities. So my nephews, I've got 3 nephews, and they all got ready. My sister really outdid herself getting their stuff ready, outfits and all of that. And there was my sister made this recording where one of my nephews was singing God Save the Queen. So he looked quite cute, and after appreciating the video, I was like, why is he thinking about, like, why is he honoring the Queen in this way though? Like, my son was like, excuse me, he is Nigerian British, he's in the UK, and of course he'll honor the Queen. We will honor the Queen because this is where we are, and she is the queen of this land. And I was like, yeah, whatever, she's not my queen. Very, very anti-monarchist attitude, obviously brought on by all sorts of, streams of arguments, anti-colonialist, anti-Prince William and his wife, and more, overtly anyways, pro Meghan. But the bottom line is, I was just thinking about that attitude. And in generally, like, I'm always one to criticize this country and things I think they're not doing well. Obviously, you know that UK, like with a lot of Western countries in the West, obviously outside of Africa, they don't necessarily treat minorities, especially Black people, properly. So I'm very, upfront and open about my criticisms of anything they do wrong. I think they're quite hypocritical. Anyway, let me not go on a tangent, but the bottom line is, I felt the Holy Spirit checking me about this, and this is not the first time, and every time I promise to do better, eventually I find myself reverting to my old attitude, my current attitude, to be fair. This country, you cannot, I just feel, God telling me, listen, if I've come to understand that when God is with someone, when God is with you, when God is, you're working that relationship with him, you come to understand a lot of the things he does. God rarely ever has a very individualistic outlook or approach when he's dealing with one person. When he calls you, he's calling you for a purpose, for a generation, for a group of people. He always has a very wide mindset, which makes sense. He is God, right? So how is it that God could place you somewhere to be part of the solution to the problems of that country, and ultimately to yourself, to your community where you're coming from, and you get there and all you do is criticize, and criticize? There's a difference of, obviously, in being aware of the weaknesses of a country and having an outlook or a posture that's just, I just hate this country and I want them to go down. Because that's been my attitude. As self-defeating as that is, all of my working life and a huge chunk of my teenage years was spent here. If this country should go down, I will be affected. Massively so. So why would I want this country to go down? Because I don't like the way they treat people that look like me or people that come from my country. That's very self-defeating. And God put me here for a reason as well, you know? And also, that's just on a very general mindset, you know, very general perspective. I'm just looking at it from a very practical, okay, A equals A, 1 equals 1 perspective. This country has been good to me. There is no advantage or benefit or good thing that this country yields to its children, no matter what level of society or class they are, that I would say I've not gotten. Whether that be in terms of education, whether that be in terms of jobs, whether that be in terms of opportunities, access. God has made sure that I've gotten it, not because of my family or where I'm coming from, but simply because He did it. And my attitude is then one of, I mean, there are others that have not been so fortunate, but I have been. I've actually been, you know, and it's not because I'm so smart, because no, I'm not that smart actually. No, to say that, oh, that's the reason why I deserve everything I have. No, it's not because I don't, there's nothing about me that says I should necessarily get the things I've gotten, but God has seen to it that I have. So why take on this attitude? It doesn't mean not be aware of what is wrong. After all, when God called Moses, he was quite aware of the injustices that were being meted out to the Israelites in Egypt, right? But God had a plan for him. He went ahead of God and said, okay, I'm going to address this in my own way. You know, but because God's plan was too big, was too generational to fail, and God never fails anyways, that mindset had to be corrected. You know, and that's why we have that, how many years, 40, 45 years in the wilderness raising sheep after being a prince in Egypt. Then he now returned. So I don't know who this is for. This is for me anyways. I don't know who else this is for, but in whichever country you find yourself, that's obviously not your home country or birth country, do what the Bible says. I forget the specific verse. I'll add it in the caption if I remember. But pray for the country that God leads you to. Wish them well. Try, do better. Don't just try, but do better. It's so important. You can't help to solve a problem if all you do is see the problem. Have a posture of positivity and let God lead you with that.